Oh, that thing is always on my way. Hey guys, it is Kathy Parker with Property Divas. So I get a lot of questions about how do I begin to be an investor for properties? And a lot of times people don't understand you don't need money to be an investor, and I just want to help educate people because, if I could have started when I was literally 18, 19 years old, even when I was 16, the things that I know now, if you empower a 16-year-old, knowing I could have my own business if I do this. So the things I want to empower a 16-year-old with is, yes, you could be a real estate investor. And it's just that easy. So first step is you have your driver's license. That is a gold mine. You have gas in your car. That is a gold mine. Now you just need to literally have the drive in your mind. And what I mean by that is you get in your car with the notebook and you drive your neighborhood. You drive the neighborhoods that are up and coming, less developed, or neighborhoods where you know that you've seen boarded up houses, high grass. I think sometimes we're so accustomed to seeing the houses in our neighborhoods or where we go that our brain automatically blocks those out because it's just like, oh, here we go again with that ugly house. Oh my goodness. I'm so used to seeing that house that I don't even take, claim to fame that the house needs to be knocked down. On the other hand, as an investor, that's a gold mine. If not a gold mine, that's cha-ching, 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 money sign, money sign, money sign, money sign, money sign, money sign. So that is one of the properties that you would reach out to. That's a property that you need to write down. Write down the address, write down as much information that you can see. And if it's in a neighborhood that is safe, I get out and I walk the property. Write down, high grass, no shutters, no gutter, no whatever, windows broken, front doors missing, mailbox damage. Because that gives me a picture. And I even take my phone and take a picture. Save it, put first picture, whatever, so you'll know, put the color of the picture beside your documentation, because when you go back, you can reference that when you talk to the actual seller. And that aids you in the process, right? So next, once you scale your neighborhoods, that is basically the hard part, I would say. Because now you have done all the legwork. Now it's grind time. You take those addresses. You can either go to City Hall or your town office and pull your tax assessments. Research who owns that property. And that is in the town assessments. You can find that, like I said, city records. And majority of the time, the owners are going to be from out of town or at a different location, right? Now, if it still shows that they're at that physical location, it may just mean that the person no longer is alive or they never changed their address for whatever reason. I don't know, But you can try to send them the mail, see what you get. Now, who uses snail mail anymore? I don't know. I would definitely say you should utilize, everything's just turning, twisting. You should utilize the call system, right? It's so many options out there to call people, right? So you can use a dial-up system, and I'll put those in my links below. They range in cost. So depending on how much you're trying to spend, to me, you're going to put a stamp on something anyway. So I would just find the number Now, some places that you would utilize is not legit numbers. I'm going to tell you, they're going to give you bogus numbers because you're going to say, oh, this is 20 cents cheaper. Let me use this one. It's going to be an old number that no longer works. So don't go cheap. You're going to end up spending way more money than you would anyway. Just go ahead and pay the 40 cents and, get it done. So that's that. Once you get that information, you're going to call the seller. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm in sales. I've been doing, I've been a real estate agent since 2006. So well over 14 years, right? And I had to learn at the beginning of the business because I'm so uncomfortable with selling things, right? You have some natural sellers. I'm so uncomfortable with selling houses to people that I'm like, I'm not cut out for real estate. That's just not my thing. I can't sell people anything. And I had to find my groove with real estate because I love beautiful houses. I, watch HGTV, and I'm like, I can do that. I'm so love to be like, oh, look at these Venetian blinds, this grandeur, room and the high ceilings, darling. And so I'm like, I gotta change my approach because something ain't right. And I never forget, I had someone say like, girl, just be yourself. Like, you be yourself, and you have to think about it. People buy into you. That's why they chose you as an agent. It is the same exact thing when you are talking to these sellers. You are a buyer. They need you. Okay, so you're not selling them anything. So it should be no reason that you are nervous or uncomfortable, and you're not doing anything illegal. So a lot of times people clam up, and I'm like, why are you clamming up? Because you're not doing anything wrong. You're basically helping them solve a problem. You need to find out as much stuff from that phone call and do your research really before. So when you're doing that tax assessment research, you need to look and see if it's in foreclosure or, if they owe back taxes, things like that, because then that will give you a pain point. You need to figure out a pain point when you do these properties. The reason why this property is going under in a way that they're not taking care of the property anymore. Why is it that they're not repairing, fixing, selling, renting, whatever? A lot of people are going to say, it's a family property. I don't want to get rid of it. Why? You're not doing anything with it. Sell it to me. Especially if they're back on taxes, they owe taxes. You need to find out what's going on, okay? Next, so you talk to them, you ask them the questions from the script. And I would say definitely have a script in front of you. Until you get used to, what you're going to say, I still have a script in front of me because it's some things that you want to jot down. And if I have something to look at, I'm always making sure that I ask them the things that I need to know. So when I walk away from that conversation, I make sure I have all that information and not that I have to go back and make another contact. So you definitely want to make sure that you have that in front of you. I can't say that enough. Just don't randomly call. Make sure you're always together. So that's that. Then you want to talk to them, find out what's going on. Now, when you speak to them, you want them to put down their guards. So don't be acting like, oh, I'm doing you a favor. But you definitely want them to know, like, hey, I'll walk away. But do that towards like the middle end when, they kind of be like, give you pushback. Be like, at first I thought it was a good deal, but your number is a little bit too high because I still have to come in there and repair it, fix it up, And then I will have to get somebody else to do that because I don't do the work myself. And see, a lot of times when people understand that you're not the person that's doing the work, that you're actually going to get someone to repair that, then they understand that you're not getting discounted work, right? And that means that basically the price has to go down. Now, you're definitely going to say that you're a cash buyer. You don't have to get a loan and you don't have to get whatever. You're a cash buyer. You're trying to make this as quick as possible so they can get cash. Now, even if you don't have a cash buyer, right? We're not worried about that. We'll find one. It's a lot out there. Have that conversation, see what they say, get as much information about the property that you can over the phone. Make that appointment to go see the property physically. You want to say, hey, you know, is there a time and date that I can come look at the property, take pictures, so I can get a better assessed value of the work we need to do, so we can put some numbers together and give you a solid deal within 24 hours. You know, set that appointment. Make sure you set it. And I usually say try to set it within 48 hours because people push you off and off and off, whatever. So, you know, they say, hey, I can meet you tomorrow, 3 o'clock. Okay. You know, call the next day, text or whatever, say, hey, just following up. We're meeting tomorrow, 3 o'clock. Bam. You go out to your appointment. You do your walkthrough. I take pictures and I record the property as I walk through so I could show my investors, right? You want to post it. You want to, you know, not put the physical address up. Never, ever do that. Because you don't want to ever tell somebody else's property is vacant because that's putting people at risk. But you know, you post it on Craigslist. You post it on Facebook Market. Anywhere else you could think you could post it. That is after you solidify a number. And you say, well, how do you come up with a number? Well, you come up with a number by, this is just what I go through by general rule. So $15 per square footage if it's just cosmetic work. And what that means is when you walk through, if it's just paint, if it's just, caulking, basic cosmetics. Now, if we're talking about hot water heater, a boiler, whatever, that's, you know, extensive, right? Now, that will be like $75 per square foot. And that will give you your price range of repair. Well, how do you make your money, right? Because that's important. Well, if the house is $100,000 and your repair is $20,000, well, no, when I say 100, that is what you can sell the house for, right, on a normal market. And your repair is $20,000. That's 80, right? Now, you have to think about it when a person says, hey, I think my house is worth 70. You don't have any room to move. That's 70,000 that they want. The repairs is going to be 20. The investor is not going to buy that, right? So you have to think about this. You have to say, well, that's not going to work. Your house is not worth that much because I have to put $20,000 in it. And if I have to put $20,000 in repair and I have to sell it, that's no room to wiggle. So where do you get your money from? Your money goes on top, right? So you have to get that person lower. And the general rule is you have to be somewhere, honestly, if that property is $100,000, you need to get that person, at least from me, down to 40. If you get that person down to 40, then the repair cost on top of that would be 60. You could put your costs on there. That's 70, right? You still would have 30,000 in between to deal with that, right? Now, if you can get them lower than that, great, right? Great. Because I will talk them down to 20. Because you're talking about cash. You're talking about cash. A cash buyer. Hey, I got cash. So if you have cash, I'm like 20,000 cash. We close in 10 days. That's it. Done. Walk away. And if you do 20,000 cash and you can make 20,000 off of it, and you say the property you're going to sell it for 60, you just made $20,000, right? I mean, great if you can make 40, but you know, hey, you make what you can make off of it and not be greedy, because there's going to be more deals. And that's what I'll tell anybody: don't be greedy. Don't be greedy, because when you're greedy, your deal always, bombs. So now what happens if you can't find a buyer? Well, when you do your contract, you're going to do your contract as assigned to or and that little clause usually means you can assign this contract to anyone, okay? And you could perform as basically the seller, okay? So you can list this on the MLS. Go get them, sign off, and list it on the MLS, and you're good. With that being said, that is another way you could sell this property with no problem. It may be easier. It may move quicker. But that's if, when you list it on Craigslist or talk to your investors, it doesn't work. Now, after you find your buyer, you put it under contract, make sure the funds are there, you turn this into a closing attorney, and you definitely want to use a closing attorney. Definitely with deals like this, I tell anybody, don't try to, go and do the title yourself because you want to get paid. Use a closing attorney. And that's it. You get your cash, you walk away, and $20,000 richer. It's just that simple. So that's a little bit on wholesaling. And like I said, I will put the call rail information and how you scrape and all that great stuff down at the bottom. So I hope this information helps you a little bit of how you can make money. And if you want more information, you need help with this, I'm definitely available for mentoring. I want to help you break into the field of real estate, because I will tell anyone, real estate is one area that, since people have been selling houses, that you could be successful.